Okay, so, all right, so let me know when you're ready, or if you're already going. All right, so yeah, we're actually I'm going to get Quan here along with Christian Gray because they're much more aficionados than I am to do I think I want to do a sneaker episode. And speak more about like the industry, the secondary industry, the third market, like where people are buying stuff from. Have a little conversation about what the hell's happening with the $500 million that Kanye has with Adidas, although they don't have a contract, although they stopped doing business. But I don't know if you noticed, Adidas basically, once they cut ties with Kanye, that's fine. They didn't stop manufacturing. Okay, so they basically had in the warehouses, they have $500 million worth of merchandise they can't do nothing with because they told Kanye, we're not gonna do business with you.
Right.
So these like, what are we gonna do with this? We can't sell it with his name on it. We can't call them Yeezys. We're not gonna donate $500 million to charity. That doesn't make no sense. We need to make some money off of this type of thing. So they had a conversation where they're just gonna close out this year, and Kanye's gonna be a part of and give the permission to use the word Yeezy and stuff like that on the rest of the stuff that's there until it's out. They're kind of moving forward. But I'm very curious of like, almost like, the inner workings of what photography is, inner workings of the music business. I'm very curious of what the inner workings of what that means from a merchandising standpoint, not fashion, merchandising standpoint. So in honor of that, today, I wore of course the podcast, I wore my Tribe Called Quest Vans. They had a limited edition that came about 4 or 5 years ago, and I made sure I got a pair right away. And it has like the names of the albums on the lace. It has like, if you know the Tribe colors, they're red, yellow, and green, and black. Yeah. And there's a logo in the back as well, too. So that is what we got for today as we start industry rule number 4080.
Industry rule number 4080. Industry rule number 4080. Record company people are shady. Industry rule number 4080. Record company people are shady.
I'm not sure what episode this is, but we're getting down the road here. Bro, how many times have I been here doing? This gotta be like my 4th or 5th visit.
Right, about 5th, yeah.
About 5th visit. We've done probably about twice as much, maybe almost 3 times as much content in each one of those sessions, right? So we have a great ratio of getting in here and getting it done. My name is Tally. This is Issue. I start talking too fast. I'm Tally, and this is Industry Rule number 4080. Welcome back. Let me do the public service announcement first. If you type in the word Gotham Jungle in any format you have, whether it's Facebook or IG or YouTube, whatever the case may be, podcast, you will see Industry Rule number 4080. You should probably know this now. There's now an audio version of the podcast. We do video and we do audio, but here's the good news. They're not the same thing. So you get additional content on the audio. The audio you get me as well, and there's a theme to it. There's a method to the madness to it, but I want Goju Nation to follow it and discover it on their own rather than me telling them, because that's how we market nowadays. We don't tell you to buy the Big Mac. We just put it out, and then you say, oh, they have the Big Mac. Just so you think I'm BSing, everybody in here who has Instagram, where's the commercial? But the whole world has it, right? How'd that happen? That's 21st century marketing. That's 21st century marketing. Okay? All right. So I have a few. I'm a hot topic this and give my thoughts on a few things, and then it's just more of a potpourri day, if you will. But let's get into it. Yo, now that we're officially out of COVID, right? And you know how you know out of COVID? Because there's like commercials for COVID now. Okay, it's like when you have, it's like the flu's not a big deal because there's commercials for the flu. That means they want you to buy medicine.
Oh yeah.
Right? It ain't about you not sick. You're fine, but we want you to buy medicine. So here's the commercial to spend the money, right? Yeah. So Pfizer has now become the poster child for COVID. Okay, they're doing commercials left and right. They got a commercial with Michael Phelps, and Pink and Questlove, and Questlove says, my problem is that I'm a little bit overweight. Okay, Michael Phelps says, my problem is I'm a little bit depressed. Okay, Pink says, my problem is I have asthma. Well, make sure you have a program and a plan. Stop it. Okay, I'm not saying that COVID isn't significant. I'm not saying that COVID isn't an issue. I'm not saying that COVID isn't life-threatening. Right. But so is the flu. So is a goddamn mosquito bite. So is if you get hit by a fucking hornet's nest and you're in the wrong place in the wrong time. It's all life-threatening. We're at a place in space now where I'm gonna give you an analogy. Okay, I'm good with the analogy today, right, Laurent? You like my analogy today, right?
I'm ready for this.
Okay.
I'm ready with pen and paper.
When you cut your hand,
Okay,
you have to watch out that you don't get an infection,
right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you do get an infection, you have to make sure you don't get staph disease, because that's when the infection goes bad, right?
Right.
What's the graduation of staph disease? MRSA.
Okay.
MRSA is when the infection is so bad they may have to amputate something.
Right.
Okay? Cold, flu, COVID, infection, staph, MRSA. It's that simple.
Okay.
So just take care of your goddamn self.
That's a new commercial.
And I'm not saying that you can't get it. Just like I'm not saying you can't get an infection. But if you wash your hands, if you take care of your cut the second that it happens, you put a bandage on it and cover it up, you protect yourself from infection, which protects you from staph, which protects you from MRSA. Right. So if you're on your vitamin regimen and you drink your tea, I don't care, whatever it is, turmeric, I don't care, whatever it is, okay, turmeric, tea, I don't know, echinacea, ginseng, whatever. Rest, 8 hours sleep, okay? Yeah. Just don't eat crap, don't not be active,
that's right.
And don't sit down all damn day.
Exactly.
And if you do that, you're at least ahead of the game at starting a process where you're perceptive, you're not putting yourself in position to say, give me COVID, okay? If you're in a room with the people with the flu, like football teams, when a person gets sick, that's something different. But you can work it. Again, I don't want my comments flooded with the thought process of what I'm saying. I'm just giving a comparison analysis that stop thinking that COVID is the be all end all. But that's not my point. I'm just bringing that up as a sidebar. Now that we're here, we acted like assholes again. During COVID, we had family Zoom meetings. We spoke to our families across the seas, across the country.
Generosity was through the roof.
Man, look, kids were taking care of their parents.
Being obedient.
Everybody was inside. They shared food. They were helping everybody. We were very much intuitive and caring about our fellow man, fellow person, and family members.
Grocery shopping for the neighbor.
Grocery shopping for the neighborhood, dropping things off.
True.
We were doing everything for each other. Now you call somebody right now, and I'll get back to you next week. What the hell? Whereas before you were like, I thought we were.
Just like that.
And then the other part of the BS is that we said it during it. We need to be, we need to kind of keep doing this. We need to make sure we stay in contact with each other because the way this world's going right now, you never know. So us having this family Zoom meeting, man, this is great, man. We should do this again. Y'all ain't had one since. The most somebody did, God forbid, somebody passed away, and they said we could cut the corner. Right. Instead of flying in, we could zoom it in.
Save money that flight.
But we'd be back to the BS. We used to do meetings and say, I'll be there at 2, I'll be on time. Now we back to be casually late. Fashionably late, not caring, you'll be alright.
Damn.
We back there. What happened? This is less than 18 months ago. What happened?
That's a good question. What do you think happened?
I think, okay, so 2 things. First thing is that the good thing about it is that our generation will now do 2 things moving forward for the rest of their lives. One, subconsciously, they'll be cleaner.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
They'll just go to a sink and say, I should wash my hands. Before, optional. Okay? People wash their hands all the time. Okay? Kids, especially kids.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because now for them, it's like growing up with cartoons. It's indigenous to them. That's the first thing. Yeah, they'll wash their hands, so they'll be cleaner. And the second thing is that, we learn how to deal with crisis. We've never been in a crisis state. Nobody grew up with the world's going to end. A war is here, right? So we learned about crisis. And that's when you learned about your relationships. Because everybody who's watching this and around this have 4 less friends because of COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you probably have 2 better relationships because of COVID. Because you learned about these people during crisis. So there's somebody that called you during COVID. You say, "Holy shit, I expect it." Right? And now y'all may have a better relationship now. You reach out to them a little bit more, and you're a little bit tighter, right? Simply because of that, right? Then there's somebody that was in full-blown survival mode because either they have kids or family or elderly members of their family, the case may be, and they ain't got time for you now. So when you call, they ain't picking up. And you may even be a little bit tight with them because they're not doing that, but the bottom line is they got other stuff they got to deal with because they had that Zoom meeting. And somebody said, Aunt Cassie's by herself. Oh, I'm going, that type of thing. So that's what came out of it, and we learned about crisis.
Right.
Okay? I had a conversation, don't say anything. I had a conversation with my brother a long time ago. We probably fight after this. Where I explained to him that you get prosperity out of crisis. Okay? Especially if you believe in God. Because if God created all things, and this is a conversation that's just a backwards conversation you can fight about. I'm just giving the context of learning, okay? If we don't have 9/11, we don't know about the housing crisis. If we don't have the housing crisis, we don't learn about Bernie Madoff. But 9/11 has to happen for that to happen. Otherwise, Bernie Madoff is still operating. And the housing crisis rates are still hidden from us. And we're still being bamboozled into buying things we can't afford.
That's true.
That's what 9/11 brought us, because it broke down the stock exchange to break down that barrier. Okay? People hate guns. Okay? I'm not saying I do or I don't. People normally know how I feel about that. People hate guns. But if we didn't have firearms, there's no emancipation for black people. Because there had to be a war.
Yeah.
And people had to get shot. They didn't starve themselves into a victory. Okay, so we're not here to be able to do this if there aren't firearms. So when you sit back and say, "I hate guns," okay, then maybe you didn't want it. Maybe your ancestors didn't want to be free. Not criticizing. I'm saying that through transition, through crisis, eventually becomes some form of prosperity because we learn from it and it betters us moving forward. Does not take away from the fact that this is some bullshit. That post-COVID, okay, we acting like COVID never happened. And I have a problem with that. I'm just bringing that to light, and I'm saying, look around, just think about it, and think about your top 5, and say how they were acting with you during COVID and how they were acting now. They're not doing anything wrong. It's just a couple probably acting like it never even happened. I don't give a shit. You like that? That's some bullshit. Yeah. So that's one of my observations. Second observation that I was watching for the past couple weeks around this Chris Rock situation with Will Smith is when situations like that happen, I tend to not look at comments. That's a rabbit hole of wasted time if you just want to watch what people have to say about other stuff when you got your own stuff to do,
Right.
to a certain extent. But I said this one has culturally affected us. So let me see what people are saying, and I watched the comments, right? And Garan brought this up earlier, and I'm saying the same thing. Yo, I really have a problem with commenters. Because what are you doing with your damn life? Why is it that you have the bandwidth to stop to criticize as if everybody in this world is not flawed in some way, shape, or form? Or as if there isn't something else going on within this situation. Okay? Let me give you a perspective. Here you go, Garan. Here's what you're looking for. Okay? Let me give you a perspective on what happened with Will Smith that people are speaking about, what people don't know. Okay? We have heard the statement, and I'm paraphrasing, that Will Smith basically snapped or went over the edge because of him having to be this pillar of the industry, carrying himself as a very good person, always doing good things, always doing good projects. Okay, never known to curse unless it's on a film screen because it's in the script,
Right.
if you will, and being, a pillar of the industry. Okay, and the turning point that everybody points to is the whole entanglement thing, and how he had to be on film, emoting as it was happening. right? Which is, take a step back, people, and say, yep, you're right, Tally. Which is the definition of emasculation,
Oh yeah.
by the way.
Oh yeah.
Okay? And anytime a man feels, and any person that's feeling emasculated, you know daggone well, you're 2 minutes in either direction from either being okay or everybody not being okay. Okay? Because that emotion has to work its way through. It doesn't just settle down. You have to work through that emotion.
Absolutely.
Okay? But what people don't realize, and I'm not saying I know this as a fact, I'm saying that this is as well out there as everything else, is that, well, what did Will Smith do before this happened to maybe make Jada feel a certain way?
You mean like what did she do to him?
Not what she do to, what did he do to her? There was an entanglement. Do you think Will had entanglements? Men
Not as public.
do dirt twice as much as any woman does it. That you could pull up, I don't have the facts, but historically, that's how it works to a certain extent. The man messes up first on those levels with that type of situation. The woman tends to forgive or not forgive, right?
Right.
But how long has Will Smith been a top 5 actor in this industry?
Long time.
How many actresses has Will Smith been around during that time frame?
A lot.
I'm gonna give you a different time frame and just speak as a man. As a man. When you're with somebody for a long time, okay, and that woman may be a voluptuous, curvy woman, over time, you may tend to be a little bit more drawn to somebody that might be smarter or thinner or has a different body type. Why? Because you're so used to the body type you have, that you have been with. So I'm not saying Will Smith has or hasn't. I don't have proof. What I'm saying is that, what do you think promoted Jada to even go that route and do that? Maybe it's something that Will Smith did. Maybe he's had the opportunity to do it for a long time. And now she finally has a platform where she can say, I want you to see how I feel. And then that is what transpired to move other things forward. My point being, though, is that comments are so caught up in the slap. They're so caught up in his response, Chris Rock's response. They're so caught up in Will Smith being pseudo baby ostracized from the industry, and how dare he have something to say, and how dare he be offended. I just gave you 1/3 of the story that y'all might even know about. You came in on the second thing. You came in on Act 2. They've been married for 20 plus years. What about Act 1?
Yeah.
What's been going on there? That may or may not have happened. Right? If you work at a job and then the person says, well, he's having a problem with the boss. Well, you have no idea that the first 10 years the boss has been a pain in the ass. And now on year 11, he's saying, I can't take it no more. You're just saying, I can't take it no more.
Right.
And act like the story starts there. Okay? Will Smith admitted, and I'm going to move on to the next thing that's kind of stressing me out today. Will Smith said on the I'm going to give you a story that Will Smith said that could say, ooh, didn't think about how that could affect the situation. Will Smith was asked on the Breakfast Club if he had envy and jealousy of Tupac because of their relationship with Jada.
Right.
He looked right in the camera and said, yes. He said, you damn right.
Yeah.
Okay? So, what do you think that does to a person?
Yeah. Serious chip on the shoulder.
And make them think and move forward how he wants to do things. Again, and this is Act 1. Tupac is Act 1.
Yeah.
Okay, this is years before. This is Tupac is before Will Smith did Bad Boys.
That's right.
Independence Day. I'll stop there. I'll let the other podcasts run their mouth about that. Okay. But the comments are getting annoying because they don't know the full story. That's number one. Number two, because they have a keyboard and an opinion, and they can just say whatever they want to say with no repercussion.
Yeah.
They say it like it was in high school. Okay? Somebody say something in high school, you find out there's a good opportunity to be in that lunchroom the next day and say, what did you say?
Yeah.
And say it to their face. Or say, is there a problem, to their face.
Yeah.
Right? No layer of internet to get in the middle of my opinion.
Yeah.
So when they say this, I'm sitting back and saying, well, are they 6'2" and got a washboard stomach? And are they as successful as Will Smith? Or are they still eating the bag of Doritos from last night? And they 40 pounds overweight. They ain't changed their clothes in 2 days. But behind the computer screen, you can't tell that. So they got something to say. That's my problem with comments. You don't know the story, and you damn sure ain't telling your story. But you comment on this story.
They like to watch.
And you want to make it his story by doing such. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So that's my BS for today.
No more comments.
Those two things, I don't know if you watch Chris Russo. He's the Mad Dog from Mike and the Mad Dog. When he gets really bothered, he goes, "That bothers me." That bothers me. That's his way of saying he's pissed off. That is funny as crap. As I think about it. Okay, musical interlude. Diddy's first release on Love Records, his new label, is an artist called Jozzy. If I take the time to look up the album, it's going to take too much away from the podcast. But you need to look up Jozzy's album. Jozzy is spelled Jozzy. Not Jazzy, but Jozzy. Listen to this one, Garon. Okay? Jozzy is a lesbian. And she is a male-dominant lesbian. So when she's singing this album, it's from a male perspective. And she's singing to women. As if, I'm gonna bag you, this is what we need to be doing, we're in a relationship. So if you don't know any better, you think it's a man singing to a woman. But it's a lesbian that's male-dominant that's singing to women. And I think the album is something, it's a two-pronged title. The second half is called, I do remember this, it says Game for Niggas. Okay? Which is basically a way of saying, I'm gonna tell you how you gotta do this. Because if not, I'm coming to get her. Because you're in the way.
Wow.
Now that's concept enough where on an average day, but what the hell does it sound like? Right? Just the artist's story.
Yeah.
But here's the good thing. It's made in today's vein. It's basically an EP. It's about 6-7 songs with interludes. But what it's not a synth drum machine song where it's basically synth bass, a down 4 beat with some strings and some changes, and you call it an R&B song. There are strings, there are instrumentation, there are breakdowns, there are bridges, there are B sections, there are interludes. It's put together like an album should be put together, like an album project. Okay? Has a lot of layers to it, but it's made in today's generational standpoint of length, topic matter, and length of song. So it's almost the best of both worlds. So that's what Diddy brought to the table. He brought to the table that we can do what you guys are doing, but it can be done more musically and more creatively. So Jozzy, listen to her album. Okay? See, I said her now at the end, right? They say at the beginning, right? Second one is, all right, so everybody knows about, not everybody, but Hit Boy has a relationship with Nas. Right, and they did King Disease 1, 2, and 3, and he calls them the new Gangstar, right, on one of the records that he did that type of thing, right. Well, Hit Boy has put out another album, complete album with Musiq Soulchild. That came out just recently, and I personally, Musiq Soulchild, because love him creatively, but the voice is not top 5 that are alive. Okay, he's Mr. Mid-Range. That's what I call him. Because he can't do. If you ever see him do Love live, he can never hit the note.
Wow.
He hears whole Love, and he goes. That he goes at the end. Nobody should be able. I can't do it if you can't sing, right? He never does that live.
Wow.
He can't hit the note. Or at least that I have seen. Anyway, I'm not here to criticize the project. I'm here to promote it because it's good. It's very, very good. And the star of the project is Hit Boy. Because you don't think this much musicality is coming out of him with all the hip hop he's done with Nas.
Right.
So when you hear it, you're like, oh, this has got intros, musicality, it's got a breakdown, it's got interludes, you got vocal iterations that are different tones of voice. He definitely understands Musiq Soulchild's voice range, what he can and what he can't do. So it's very well done. It's a very good project. And Musiq Soulchild has made a project that speaks for today. It's about 6-7 songs. Okay? They're about 2 minutes to almost 3 minutes apiece, not too long. It has interludes. So it's made in today's framework of what kids are listening to and what's done. So, and I forgot what the name of that album is. I thought something in Villains. I can't remember. Look, just look up music. Y'all smart. Musiq Soulchild got an album with Hit Boy. Jozzy has an album out. Y'all should pay attention to them. Those things are good. Those are very, very good. Excuse me. That's my music. That's my music breakdown. Usually, right? I usually do a lot more on music, but I'm a little bit just jumping in and jumping out a little bit, so y'all can know I'm as well as rounded. My brother bought this one to me, Garon. This is funny. I have 2 points of view on this one as we shift. Left turn. The cost of downloads and the value add in conjunction with how much time and effort the artist put into the recordings. Can you imagine you filming a wedding and all the energy and time? Let's say an outdoor wedding in April, still windy. Okay, or a wedding in August where it's hot as hell and they all sweating outdoors, right? And you got to make sure they don't look like sweating dogs. And you taking all types of photos from all types of angles. You coming up with, let's go inside because it's too hot. Let's go here. You may not thought about this, but if you'll do it right here by the cellar, that's a great look. And you put all this energy in. And how long would it take you, say, honestly, to do a wedding shoot full day? 6 hour day, 8 hour day, 12 hour day?
Yeah, it could be at the 8 to 10 hours.
Okay, so it's a 10 hour day if you're putting your good professional energy into it and putting your foot in it, right? Okay. Can you imagine if online the photos was just sitting there without being edited, or they were selling for $0.25?
So
How you would feel?
Right.
Like goddamn! I bust my.
Look at it.
What the fuck? Even if they paid you, it's still the effort I put into this. Is what you going? We doing this?
Totally relatable.
It'll make you say, you damn near gonna want to ask the next time it's a job. What y'all gonna do with the photos once we done?
Where's it gonna end up? Where you going?
Is this gonna be a bingo card at Nana's birthday party? What the hell are y'all doing? Okay. Well, that's what I relate to. That's because that's how artists are feeling. And we were talking about certain projects where we were saying, okay, I'll give you a good example. We were talking about Kendrick Lamar's album. You've heard that album. That boy tried to change the world on that album. In every way, shape, or form. He got conceptual records, he got radio records, he got street records, he's got core duets with people that make sense to speak to the record. He really put together an album project.
Yes.
Can you imagine how Kendrick Lamar feels when somebody downloads one song for $2?
Crazy.
Made a damn sense.
Yeah.
For $2. With all effort he puts into making these records, how much cost, energy, time, non-sleep, right? Other point, flip side. Can you imagine how much the fan is missing out on the experience of the album because you just want to download one song?
The album is structured.
For you to listen to the whole project, you're structured to watch the movie.
Right.
Not just watch one scene and say, I'll buy that one scene where he slapped him.
For $2.
I'm not watching the whole movie, but that scene where
That was hard.
that scene in Godfather 2, where he slapped her because you said you have an abortion, I'll pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But you missed Fredo getting killed. because you want to get that one part. That is a crime to the industry.
Yeah. I call
That
it
really is. That really is. There should be something in play online where if you download more than 2 songs, even if it's discounted, you're required to purchase the album. So you can't just get it in dribs and drabs. So if you download $2 and then $8, then $8 for everything else.
Right.
So at least you get the royalty. At least the artist has a shot at a real good royalty.
Yeah.
And the kids don't pick at it. Chinese food. Chinese food. I don't like the onions. You don't pick at it.
Vegetable fried rice, pick out
Vegetable fried. They order vegetable fried rice and take out all the vegetables. And then you say, why you ask us to order fried rice? Well, why did you even go through this exercise? Okay, so that's a problem. That's a problem. I don't. When you said, I said I don't like that because again, being a part of the process of actually making a project and knowing what time. as many times as my butt left a studio, leaving the artist there at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So I can say, oh hell no, I gotta get something resembling sleep. To see this, it is a problem.
Yeah.
Here's why I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. Or $2 should get you one song and snippets for songs for the rest of the album with an option to buy it at a discount. Like the label should market it more to draw them towards purchasing the album.
Yeah.
More to say, I'll just take you $2 and keep. I'll take you $2 and keep it moving. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Be more of a furniture salesman. We need you to buy a living room set, not just a couch.
There you go.
You need it eventually.
You're gonna need it eventually. Yeah, you'll need it eventually, right? And because they figured out, because you can't. For example, I can't. If Garon has an Apple contract, have an Apple contract, I can't. Look, I can get your Netflix account. I can work that out. Okay, watch movies all day. But I can't get his account for iTunes and download songs on my phone.
Oh yeah.
They figured out how to not cheat them. Apple has figured out not how to steal from them. But they have the financial model in place for the artists not get paid what they should get paid at maximum. They have it marketed that.
Right.
So we got ours.
So that's tech and music.
Yeah, you deal with yours whenever. We'll wait till you scream about it. We'll wait till you jump up and down. Meanwhile, no, you can't use Garon's account and download your shit. No, you cannot. No, you cannot.
Dang.
All right, so here we go. I got a lot of information here, but I just want to kind of do a little reminisce part right now. I want to know how fast time is passing with these topics. Okay, I'm going to read out loud to you some of, if not all of, the top 10 albums of 2013, just 10 years ago.
Okay.
Okay. The 2020 Experience by Justin Timberlake.
Ooh.
That was 10 years ago.
Okay.
The Red album by Taylor Swift, which is a watershed album for her, was 10 years ago. Taylor Swift, 10 years ago. Okay? Unorthodox Jukebox by Bruno Mars was 10 years ago.
Wow.
10 years ago. Here's one you're going to say, really? Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke was 10 years ago.
Damn.
That feels 10 years ago, though.
Damn.
That feels 10 years ago. Okay? Magna Carta by Jay-Z was 10 years ago.
Wow.
And Nothing Was the Same by Drake. It's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
As I say those, you'll all take a little bit of a baby inhale, like, 10 years, shit. That does not feel like 10 years ago. That feels like 3 summers ago. Am I right or wrong?
Right. Yeah.
Especially the Drake album and Jay-Z album. Well, Jay-Z's a little bit different because Magna Carta, Jay-Z didn't have the hair.
Right.
Okay. But Drake, you're like, what? That was 10 years ago? Yes. Want some more?
Yeah.
Top 10 movies
Oh boy.
of 2013. Here's the first one to make you so, oh hell, time's moving way too fast. You ready? Ready, Ron?
Ready for this?
Frozen was 10 years ago.
Damn.
Damn.
Frozen feels like it's last summer.
It feel like a couple years ago.
Right now, for all the kids in the world, that was the Lion King for this generation, right? Frozen was a decade ago.
Damn.
Yes. Okay. Iron Man 3 was 10 years ago. Iron Man 3 was 10 years ago.
3.
Not 2. Not 1. 3.
Now we right.
Okay. Monsters University by Pixar.
Oh, the sequel.
Mike Wazowski.
Right now.
was 10 years ago.
That was 10 years ago?
10 years ago.
Wow.
Right? Now, here's how fast they're making these movies, but also how long ago it was. Fast and Furious 6 was 10 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Mind you, 10 is coming out this summer.
Oh my gosh.
The other ones are names we know, but not an impact. Like when I say Frozen. You're like, Frozen? What the hell? That was 10 years ago. I swear to God, I bought my niece a Frozen doll 2 Christmases ago. What the hell? Would you like to go back even further?
Sure.
Garon, you want to do 20 years?
20 years?
Let's do 20 years. Okay, let's do 20 years. Top albums of 2000. Now, first of all, when I say this out loud, you're going to say, that's a long time ago. Doesn't feel like it. 2003 does not feel like a long time ago. In theory, it's 20 years, but in theory, like, that's not really, right? Especially I'll give you the albums. You ready? Get Rich or Die Trying was 2003.
That'll age you right there.
Get Rich or Die Trying was 2003.
Wow.
So Holy Grail was 2013, right? The Black Album was 2003.
Wow. 2003.
The Eminem Show was 2003. The breakthrough album of the white artist that we know of, but we don't have any of her records in our, well, I do, don't have any of her records in our playlist. Nora Jones' Come Away With Me album was 2003. Remember ever heard about this white girl named Nora Jones? Everybody loved her? But that was too gross.
No, listen, I got 4 sisters, man.
There you go. Okay? Here's a good one. I got 2 more good ones for you. No, the last 4 are all fantastic. I didn't give them in particular order because I didn't want to get caught up in how many they sold.
Right.
Speaker Box, The Love Below was 2003. I'm gonna keep going. College Dropout, Kanye was 2003. Justified by Justin Timberlake was 2003. And Dangerously in Love by Beyonce was 20 years ago.
What the hell happened?
It don't feel like Beyonce been making records by herself for 20 years.
Right.
It feels like maybe she did 10. That sounds like Destiny Child should still be back there, not her.
Right.
That Beyonce solo album is 20 years ago.
Wow.
It makes you feel like people like her took some time off and then came back. Because that's
But you don't. When you look at her physically, visually, you don't think she's 20 years from those albums.
correct.
It feels like she's 7 years from those albums,
Yeah.
not 20. Ready for the top albums? I mean, top movies?
Oh, 20 years ago?
20 years.
20 years ago. Ready? These are some interesting names. Finding Nemo was 20 years ago. But that kind of feels about right, though.
Yeah.
That feels kind of about right.
Yeah.
Of everything we said, that feels the most closest to right. That was a while ago. Finding Nemo, that sounds about right. The last Lord of the Rings movie was 20 years ago. Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, that was 20 years ago.
And that was the last one.
And that was the last in the trilogy. It was 20 years ago.
20 years.
Okay? The dual Matrix movies. Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Revolutions, when they put out the same year?
Yeah.
Matrix final movies was 20 years ago.
Got me thinking when was the first one? God.
Right.
Man.
Right. X-Men 2, the second X-Men movie, was 20 years ago.
Wow.
And there's 2 movies, one that's gonna make you laugh and one's gonna be like, eh. Terminator 3, which is the last Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator, was 20 years ago. And this is just proof of just how the world's upside down and crazy. Elf, the Christmas movie, was 20 years ago.
What the heck were they doing before that?
Was 20 years ago. Yo, both of your reactions is the reason why I put the list together. Because it does put two things. One, time is passing a lot faster than you think. A lot faster than you think. Beyonce's first solo album was 20 years ago. Okay? I'm saying it to the camera so y'all can say, stop. Stop Asian Beyonce. Okay? Sorry, it's what it is. Elf, which is now considered a movie classic, TNT, Every Day at Christmas Year, was 20 years ago. And Jay-Z's Black album, which was supposed to be his last album, correct?
Yeah.
When he retired, was 20. Jay-Z was supposed to retire from rapping 20 years ago. Ain't enough people here to go 30 years, okay? So I'm not gonna bother you with that one.
what it does for artists like Beyonce, for me, is like it helps makes me gauge like how young she was when she started. Because that first solo album
Sure.
was 20 years ago.
And that's after making 4 Destiny Child albums.
Right. You know, that'll put some perspective on some people who think that people just are now. That's all they look at is what they see of Beyonce now.
Yeah.
And 20 years ago was her first solo.
Right.
And however many years prior with Destiny's Child.
And her artist, what it also speaks to, almost in the sense of classic artists over years, whether you're James Brown, the Rolling Stones, Beyonce, Michael Jackson, it speaks to their commitment to the craft and their commitment to their form of excellence within the craft.
Yeah.
Because what we cannot say, whether you like it or you don't like it, specifically about Beyonce, is that she's fucking around making records. Okay? She's out here making records that she really feels defines her, defines the generation, defines the craft, making good songs. She's not out here just saying, she's not treating it like a rapper that happens to have a deal. Okay, and making the album is part of what if I don't make this album, the label's gonna be mad. No, Beyonce creatively is saying it is time to. She is hopefully this doesn't come across the wrong way. She is almost like a movie maker when it's time. It's like when Spielberg says time to make a movie, we're making a Spielberg movie.
Right.
Okay, we're not making Pootie Tang. Beyonce makes her album. You could tell that, you know, what do people say about Beyonce now in female R&B? There's Beyonce and everybody else. That's the typical term that's utilized, right? It's not that other people aren't fantastic. It's not that SZA's not fantastic, but there's Beyonce and everybody else. That's because of how she approaches her craft, which I think is magnificent. So I want to give I like to throw that context in there because again we're so busy making fucking comments on people's pages, okay, and not.
I was upset.
and not acting like the world is the BS comments. You know the stuff we talked about with the COVID thing. Like it's almost like we're not keeping scope of where. That's the one thing I liked, although it was a crisis about COVID. There was a level of focus that the country as a whole had on the important things.
Yeah.
Whether it was food, survival, family, health, whatever it was more of a laser focus on don't lose that.
Yeah.
Don't lose that. Keep that right here. Whatever, keep that. And it seems like we can let that all go and we're back to the BS again. So Beyonce caring about her craft, or giving perspective on projects that came out years ago to kind of give a little bit of, like you said, that gave you a perspective on time. Okay? Gave you a perspective on time.
Yeah.
Great. Think about time now. You know what I'm saying? In general, in life. Think about time and don't waste it and do what you got to do and focus and blah, 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 right? Whether it's business, whether it's travel, right? Whatever the case may be, do what you got to do. But keep time in mind because this is what happens. You wake up one day and fucking Nemo's 20. You're like, God damn it, Nemo's 20? Shit. So, oh man, this is industry rule number 4080. We are here on YouTube, visual, more platforms coming soon. I think I want to do Twitch next and add that. We're going to work on that. We're on the audio platform, Podbean, and we're on Apple Podcasts right now. We're working out Spotify. And all you have to do, if industry rule number 4080 is too much for you to memorize and think about, it is very simple. At Gotham Jungle. Gotham Jungle spelled with one word. At Gotham Jungle, just how it sounds. All social media platforms, etc., etc. My name is Tally, and like I always like to say, light and darkness cannot coexist at the same time. So if you choose to be one, choose to be the light. Talk to y'all soon.